Hi, hello everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on which part of the world you're at. My name is Silvia Neira, and I'm the Vice President of the Global Initiative on Aging and Longevity, which is an international global foundation affiliated to the United Nations, and which goal is simple but very bold, which is to make the 100-year life not only a scientific and artificial intelligence possibility, but a social success story. And therefore, this evening in Japan, afternoon in the UAE, in the Middle East, and morning, very early morning if you're in the US, I would like to talk briefly about brain health and the 100-year life, because we need to redesign relevance, resilience, and a new map of life. So it is an honor to be with you today at a time when humanity is simply stepping into one of the most profound revolutions in history, the revolution of longevity. I know we've been talking about this throughout the day, so bear with me to find tips about what we can do about it, what is happening, and what are the solutions. For the first time ever, there are more people of the age of 65 than under the age of 5. By 2050, 1 in 6 people on the planet will be over 65. And according to the United Nations, a child born today in more than 50 countries has 1 in 2 chances of living to 100. That is extraordinary, yet it also raises a question: what will the quality of those extra decades look like? The real story of longevity is not only about adding years to life, but about adding life to years, about ensuring that those extra decades are healthy, purposeful, and connected. At the center of this transition is brain health, because our brains are the foundation of who we are. They enable our independence, the creativity, and humanity. Without a healthy brain, there is no healthy longevity. So today, over 55 million people around the world are living with dementia. That number is projected to reach nearly 140 million by 2050. More than the entire population of Japan, just so that you can put this into perspective. But there is hope. The Lancet Commission of Dementia shows that up to 40% of dementia cases could be delayed or prevented by addressing modifiable risk factors through lifestyle, education, early detection, and community support. This means that we have a tremendous opportunity to treat brain health not as a medical afterthought, but as a lifelong investment. But brain health is more than the absence of disease. It is the ability to think clearly, manage emotions, stay curious, connected, and purposeful. And that is why brain health must be at the heart of the new map of life. It is what sustains all the other dimensions of longevity, from how we work to how we learn, love, contribute to society. So from here, we have 6 spans of the 100-year life. The 100-year life can only thrive if we redesign our systems and around 6 essential spans: health span, wealth span, education span, work span, AI span, and social span. Each one represents both a challenge and a remarkable opportunity to create a more inclusive, humane, and brain healthy future. If I start with health span, how do we do living longer and healthier? Globally, life expectancy has risen more than 20 years since 1950. Yet, health span, the years we live in good health, has not kept pace. So on average, people now spend about 20% of their lives in poor health. You need a fundamental shift from treating disease to promoting prevention. But only around 5% of national health budgets are currently devoted to preventative measures, according to the World Health Organization. So this must change. A long life demands a system that invests early in nutrition, physical activity, mental health, digital literacy, and cognitive care. At GIA Longevity, we work to strengthen these areas through education, digital inclusion, and partnerships that place brain health at the center of healthy aging strategies. Because when the brain thrives, the whole person and society thrives. WellSpan. 100-year life will require new economy models. Longer lives mean longer financial journeys and more opportunities to participate in and contribute to the economy. The World Economic Forum estimates that if countries simply close the age participation gap in the workforce, global GDP could grow by 19%. And we're talking about global GDP. So yet, ageism, unemployment, and limited financial education still restrict opportunities for many. So WealthSpan is about redesigning inclusive financial systems that empower people to remain productive, independent, and secure across the lifespan. GIA Longevity here advocates for policies and awareness that support older entrepreneurs, inclusive investment and financial resilience, transforming the cost of aging into the dividend of longevity. Now we'd like to move into education span. Education is the most powerful long-term investment in brain health. According to OECD, workers over 55 are 60% less likely to receive training than younger colleagues. That is a waste of both potential and protection, because continuous learning strengthens cognitive reserve. That's the brain's ability to stay resilient even as we age. At the new map of life from the Stanford Center of Longevity, they remind us that education should not be front-loaded into youth, but extended throughout our life cycle. And at GIA Longevity, we promote digital literacy and reskilling initiatives that help older adults to adapt to new technologies and stay mentally active, connected, and relevant. A society that keeps learning is a society that keeps its brain active and alive. If we move into work span, work has traditionally been structured around a short life, education in youth, work in midlife, retirement in later years. That model simply no longer fits. We are entering an era of multi-stage careers, which is wonderful. People will move in and out of paid work, caregiving, volunteering, learning multiple times across a century. The McKinsey Futures of Work report projects that half of current work roles will need redesign to match this new longevity reality. That requires flexible systems, intergenerational collaboration, and workplace cultures that value experience alongside innovation. GIA Longevity supports initiatives that encourage companies to view longevity as an asset, fostering mentoring, age-inclusive hiring, and work policies that enhance both productivity and purpose. Because relevance is medicine for the brain. When people feel useful and valued, they stay healthier, sharper, and happier. Now we'll move into the AI span. We're building trust in the age of intelligence. Artificial intelligence is transforming every aspect of life, and it has extraordinary potential to support healthy aging and brain health. AI can help detect early signs of cognitive decline through subtle changes in voice, movement, or behavior. It can personalize care, learning, and mental stimulation. It can help older adults remain independent through smartphones, digital companions, and adaptive technologies. But the same system that empowers can also expose data misuse, bias, digital fraud, disproportionately affect older adults. We all know this. And this is why trust, ethics, and protection must evolve hand in hand with innovation. At Longevity, we're leading pioneering projects to enhance global standards of data protection and digital ethics in the longevity field, ensuring that technology serves, safeguards, and empowers people of every age. Soon you will hear from us about this. So artificial intelligence can amplify humanity if it is guided by empathy, by inclusion and care. Social span, where we have connection, care, and belonging. There was a wonderful Harvard study of adult development that is actually still going, which has followed participants for more than 85 years. Found one simple truth: good relationships keeps us happier and healthier throughout life. So social connection is not a luxury, it's the medicine. It protects the brain, reduces depression, and even strengthens the immune system. Yet older adults today face loneliness and social isolation and exclusion more than ever before. So we must create societies that celebrate inclusion across generations, where belonging, not isolation, is the norm. Again, at Longevity, we are deeply committed to this through our work with care workers, both formal and informal. We have developed a wide range of training programs and courses in Spanish and in English to elevate and dignify the caregiving profession, giving careers stronger skills, recognition, and pathways for growth. Because care is not only a service, it's a human value. So recognizing and empowering those who give care strengthens the very fabric of a longevity-ready society. A healthy social span ensures that the 100-year life is not just about surviving longer, but living connected, respected, and seen. So the new map of life, I wanted to talk about this. It's a blueprint for the century of longevity. The Stanford Center of Longevity calls the 21st century the century of redesign. And in Longevity, we couldn't agree more. In their new map of life, they remind us that the 30 extra years of life gained in the last century must be treated not as an extension of old age, but as an opportunity to reimagine every system: education, work, health, and community. The framework calls for lifelong learning, purposeful work, flexible institutions, equitable access, and intergenerational solidarity. These principles align perfectly with Longevity's mission to turn that academic blueprint into a living movement of collaborations across sectors, cultures, and generations. So our goal is simple yet bold: to make the 100-year life not only a scientific and AI possibility, but a successful social story. So to realize this vision, we need action from all parts of society. What are our suggestions? For business, invest in age-diverse teams and lifelong learning programs. Integrate brain health and digital safety into corporate well-being strategies. And see longevity not as a cost, but as an innovation frontier. For policymakers, we recommend redesigning social and urban infrastructure for a 100-year life, which is the new reality. Support digital literacy, preventative health, and caregiving recognition. Additionally, incentivize AI ethics and data protection standards that build trust, as this has not been done yet. For civil society and individuals, we encourage purpose, connections, and contribution at every stage of life. Break the stigma of aging and celebrate longevity as shared progress. The longevity revolution is not just a demographic shift. It is a chance to redefine what it means to live well, work well, and care well. A vision for the century of life that I would like to give is: when I look at the future, I don't see a world burdened by aging. I see a world gifted with time to grow, to connect, to contribute, and to live many chapters, but that future depends on how we nurture our brains, our relationships, and our systems today. The future of longevity begins in the brain, in how we think, how we innovate, and how we choose to care for one another. So imagine a world where reaching 100 is not an exception, but a joyful expectation. A world where technology protects dignity, where work is inclusive across generations, and where care is valued as a cornerstone of prosperity. That is the vision of the new map of life. That is the mission of GIA longevity. And that is the invitation before all of us to build a century of life that is not only longer, but wiser, fairer, and deeply human. Thank you.